I feel like you're hiding the hadith because you're embarrassed about it. That's just
You've
my
quoted the hadith. So I want you to tell me exactly what happened to the women, please. Because your allegation was rape, isn't it? You said rape, right?
But
this is the thing that took you out of the religion, right?
Secular humanist, welcome to the stream.
Hi, Abbas and Imran. Thank you so much for taking me. I have a question about a specific hadith, and I'm genuinely interested to know your thoughts. If you could pull up
sorry, before you start secular, what's your background so we can understand?
Background from a Muslim family.
You were from a Muslim family?
Yes.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then I kind of became an atheist because I found a lot of things in the Quran and the Hadith that were deeply troubling to me, like on a moral level and
on a moral level. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did this process with you happen?
Probably a long time ago, starting in 2014, when with the whole ISIS and the Yazidi women and that whole thing that was happening in Iraq. Then it led me to really go back and read the texts in the Quran and the Hadith. And
so what you're saying is that you looked at the ISIS approach to Islam, and then you went back and read that, and you thought this is true Islam. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Maybe not everything that they did, but some of the things that they did, the most troubling things seemed to me that originated from the Quran and the Hadith teachings. And there's one specific Hadith I was hoping you would bring up that we could discuss. This is Sahih Muslim Hadith number 1456D.
But before you go on, so what's the basis that you're critiquing from?
Let
me just bring it up.
1456D. This is on Sunnah.com. Yeah.
Okay. So you were saying.
Sorry, what I was saying is, based on my understanding of the Quran and the Hadith, it's when you have a battle or when you invade another village and you capture the captive women, then you can have intercourse with the women, which I would consider to be like rape. But you can have intercourse with the women.
Okay, 1 second. So because what you've done is you've just put out you're making a narrative up. I want you to give me some sort of evidence from this. So you've just made statements. So you've used words like invade, and you've words just take the women, and you can rape them. These are making these statements up. So I want some evidence.
Right. So I was hoping you could bring up the Hadith so we could discuss it on the screen, like the 1456D, which is Sahih Muslim. Then that specific incident I want to just ask you about.
Okay, please ask far away.
Okay, so the Hadith says that during the Battle of Autas, we captured a group of women, the Sahaba, and we were hesitant to have intercourse with the female captives because of their husbands. And then Allah Almighty revealed the verse, Quran, Surah 4, verse 24, and all married women are forbidden to you except those whom your right hands possess.
Okay.
So then we considered it lawful to have intercourse with these women.
So you said it was 1456D, yes?
Yes, in Sunnah.com.
Yeah, that's where I am at the moment. It doesn't say that.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. It doesn't seem to say those words.
So the last sentence you put about it doesn't say that. So it says it just stops with the verse.
Yeah.
Now, tell me. So 1 second. So and this is common, and I've done I did a really lengthy 45-minute video on this specific hadith about 5 years ago, and actually it's on EFDawah as well. And this is a classic thing that comes up. A lot of the people who claim to be ex-Muslims, they bring this up as if all of their life they hadn't read the Quran, and then they suddenly come this verse and this is what it means. So now let's have a look. So I want you to tell me about what happened at Autas.
Yeah, do you think you could put up the hadith so that we can see it and then we can discuss it?
Yeah, I can put it up. So tell me about Autas first. Tell me.
I believe it was the thing is, I don't know exactly the background behind it, but regardless,
hang on 1 second. Yeah, you've made all of these allegations about rape and about invading villages and how you have a big moral conundrum. I hope it's not a quandary, but a big moral conundrum about all that was happening, enough to make you leave Islam, right?
Right. So
now, answer 1 second. When I ask you for the background to this specific incident, the one that was really, really bothering you.
Yeah.
You say you haven't looked at it? Well, that doesn't make sense
No,
to me.
no, because it doesn't matter. Like, if you pull up the hadith, I can show you, like, regardless of the circumstances behind the hadith, the content of the hadith is still deeply troubling, right? Let's say it was a defensive war.
No, absolutely not. So the whole point, this is the whole point here. So the Quran says, woe be unto those who pray.
Right. So
one second.
Yeah.
Isn't that troubling?
That is, that is troubling if that's the verse. I mean, I know that's the verse, but let's talk about this hadith.
What's the important part of that? What's the importance of that verse?
That there's another verse after it that
clarifies this context exactly.
Right.
So now one second.
Right.
So, and this is, and I'm gonna go through this really carefully with you because I really want you to understand what this is about. What battle is this?
This is Autas, I believe.
No. Autas was the place.
Right.
What was the battle?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure. I don't think it's relevant right now to this discussion.
It's completely relevant. You need to know. One second, I'm explaining secular. Secular, I'm explaining.
Yes.
Because if everything you say didn't happen, then of course it's completely irrelevant, right?
It's not, because I can give you everything. I can tell you that it was a defensive battle or whatever. But the content of that,
nothing to do with defense.
Right. I mean, do you think you could pull up the hadith so people can see it on the screen?
Well, you read the hadith out. I'm trying to get your understanding of it.
No. I feel like you're hiding the hadith because you're embarrassed about it. That's just
you've quoted the hadith, didn't you?
Right. So I'm wondering if you could pull it up on the screen so that people can read the text of the hadith. Because the question,
you think people haven't read the text of this hadith?
No, because you're not pulling it up.
Okay. So you think we're hiding this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I want you to tell me now what this battle was about so that we can understand.
It doesn't matter. The question, the problem.
No, it matters completely. It matters completely.
I'll tell you why it doesn't matter. Because regardless whether it was a defensive battle or an offensive battle,
nothing to do with defense. You're bringing points that are irrelevant.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is the text of the hadith says that there were a group of women that were captured and they were married, and we were hesitant to have intercourse with these women. Then Allah Almighty revealed Surah Nisa verse 24 that said that all married women are forbidden to you except those whom your right hands possess. So
and then what happened?
It doesn't matter what happened. The text is the problematic part. The teaching is the problematic part.
Of course it matters what happened.
Regardless, I mean, what does it mean? What is 424? What is it trying to say? What does Allah want people to know about married women who are captured?
Well, secular humanist, you clearly don't know, so it does matter. Then the context matters because that's how you get to know things. It's very simple. You cannot comprehend a matter, any matter in life, any event in life, without understanding the full context of it. You've already been explained how certain things are said, and if you take them in isolation, you end up with the wrong end of the stick. So it does matter.
So secular humanists. What happened to the women who were captured at Autas?
Okay, so I think this is all like running away from the actual issue, but I can tell you what I think happened based on what I was reading. I still think it's running away from the content of the hadith, but what happened was that eventually they were freed because of some technical.
No, hang on. Sorry, one second.
Yeah.
I want you to now I know that you know the answer to the question. This is the insincerity that secular that's coming forward. So I want you to tell me exactly what happened to the women, please, because your allegation was rape, isn't it? You said rape, right? Very confidently, right?
I'm saying it doesn't matter. I'm challenging the content of that one specific hadith. Like, I want to know what Allah means by that specific.
I will explain to you, but first, one second. I'll explain to you.
Right.
The point here is that if you want to see application, then you're applying it to this specific incident, right? And you're making a claim about that incident. And I want you to explain exactly what happened so that people can understand.
I don't remember. I remember reading something about this. If you could clarify, that would be helpful. But at the same time, I believe that you're hiding the hadith because it feels so embarrassing to show it on the screen.
Is that what you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you
just show the hadith so we can get over that?
I want to understand this, because now I'm going to clarify for this person very clearly.
What I feel is that this is something that's so embarrassing to Muslim scholars that they hide it from people like myself. Like I spent my entire
you never went through Sunnah.com. You never read the Quran before.
I read the Quran, but this is something that was.
So you've never read chapter 4, verse 24 before?
Not with the meaning, because
not with the meaning.
No, because the whole.
Why not?
I'll tell you why. Because I spent hundreds, thousands of hours reading the Quran in Arabic, but I never knew what it meant because
why?
Because they hide this. I'll tell you why. Because it's very embarrassing and it's shameful. And
one second, secular, because now you're being emotional.
Yeah.
Because the argument you've brought so far, the only argument you brought is one of emotion. Right. Embarrassment. I don't understand. This is horrific. This is all emotion on arguments.
Right.
What you've not brought is any rational discussion of the actual events. You're saying you spent hundreds and thousands of hours.
Right.
This is what your claim is, right? And you couldn't read the book in the language that you understood?
No.
Is that, are you really asking me to believe that?
Yeah, because they teach you from beginning when you're a child. They teach you to read the tajweed, and they teach you to read the Arabic, and you spend so many hours reading the Quran again and again and again. But they never teach you to teach the meaning.
Who is they? That's not my experience.
Uh-huh.
That's not my experience.
Right.
So hang on 1 second. So why are you generalizing whatever lack of learning that you've had? Why is that generalizable?
I don't know. I'm just speaking based on what I.
Absolutely. So now I want you to explain to me exactly, because now you've made another emotive argument. You guys hide it. Okay, it's in the Quran. The book's been available. It's online for everyone to see. It's a commonly brought up contention, and it's a video response that I did maybe 4 or 5 years ago that was 45 minutes long, very commonly discussed ad nauseum. And the people that discuss this usually come from this, I have a moral problem, and yet they're secular, which is really funny, secular humanists, which is really funny to have a moral position as a secular humanist. But I want you to have the testicular fortitude to talk about exactly what happened at this battle, please. Tell me what happened. You said you researched it, right?
Yeah, but
this is the thing that took you out of the religion, right?
One of the things that really bothered me is.
So tell me exactly what happened at this battle.
I can't remember because
Why can't you remember?
It's not in the text.
Hundreds of thousands of hours of research.
No. I'm reading the Arabic Quran, it's called Nazira. We call it Nazira, where you just read again and again and again. But it doesn't. They never teach you the meaning, and then they hide these.
What do you mean they never teach you? I was taught the meaning. I could look at the meaning.
Right.
But Quran's in English all over the world. Quran's in Urdu all over the world. Quran's in all the languages all over the world.
Right. So when
the idea that you're painting of people who, these are Muslims are hiding the true religion from the believers. This is just this is like a Marvel comic.
Can I just ask you, secular humanist, just on that point?
Right.
There are many translations of the Quran in the English language. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And have any of those Qur'ans missed out those verses?
Every single one has the verse.
Okay, so it's not concealed in the Qur'ans.
Right.
And the hadith that you find online, like sunnah.com and what have they hidden the hadith there?
No, it's available.
So it's available there. So where is it being hidden, sorry? I'll
tell you where it's been hidden. There's this Umar TV series that came out that was written by, I believe, Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, and I watched the entire seerah, and they hid the part when during the battle, during the invasion or whatever, the battle of Banu Qurayza, when they captured the captives and they killed the men, and they took the women and distributed them to the male soldiers, and that was never covered in the series. Why didn't they show it? Like, I watched that series with my parents.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Now you're referring to
hold on, Imran, just 1 second. Was every aspect of I've watched is that the series on Omar, which was put on one of the Arabic channels that was is that the one you're referring to?
Yeah.
Did they skip lots of other things as well?
This is so crucial. Like, I mean,
did they skip other things as well to make it concise?
I feel like they captured all the critical aspects of the except for this.
So secular humanists, what you've done is you've assumed the worst, because what you've done is you've said, oh, they made this series. The fact that they haven't included this and included it in detail means that they have deliberately concealed it. These conniving, horrible Muslims, they're hiding these things from the people, right?
Right.
That's just a subjective analysis of the situation. It's not a matter of fact, is it?
Right. That's my understanding of the situation.
Okay. So let's be fair here, please. Yeah. Look, we're trying to engage with you in a nice way. It's not about making you look bad. We're not here to make ex-Muslims look bad. We'd like to have a wholesome discussion, but let's have a fair, balanced discussion. When you say things like, for example, that this is just a green light for rape, then I would imagine as soon as this verse came down that the Sahaba simply all plunged onto these women and they immediately all gang raped and mass raped them. Is that what happened?
They would have done it unless there were some technical glitches that caused a different.
No, I'm asking you a question. Did that happen?
I believe not, but if you could clarify my memory, I would appreciate it.
So the point here is, please don't make these type of accusations. Don't just throw these words in, because it's not respectful. It's not nice. What you could say is that, brothers, since I'm not very well versed on the minutiae or the details of this, possibly, Dr. Imran, you may have looked into this since you made a whole video about it. What does this mean? Because to me, it seems to imply X. But what is your view? That's a more sincere way, brother, of asking a question. If you make a categoric statement, then you've got to come here with all the details. And so far, whenever you've been asked to provide details, you're not sure or you've forgotten. So I think let's have a sincere discussion. And hopefully, if the evidence that we provide you is compelling, are you able to or willing to perhaps possibly revise your judgment on the matter? Is that something that's possible, or have you made your mind up?
No, of course, I would definitely consider.
Lovely. So I'll let Dr. Imran continue. Let's have the discussion in good faith. Let's hopefully get somewhere.
So I appreciate that. In your research, Secular, did you look up any other?
Yes. Every there's so many incidents that were bothering me. There was one.
We're talking about. Oh. So what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to scattergun. It's a tactic that people use.
Okay.
So you've already done this already once. You're bringing in many topics, and the thing with that is that we're going to have a discussion about a specific thing, and if you scattergun and it looks like a particular point wasn't addressed, people run around saying, "See, this point wasn't addressed."
Right.
Now, what I want you to know. Now, I'm asking you this very specific question.
Yes.
About this particular hadith that you've mentioned.
Yes.
And I want you to mention it for me, please.
So
did you look at any other hadith like this, please?
Yeah, I did, and there were all the variations that I looked up in Sahih Muslim. They were all different, and they were very similar. Some of them said we were afraid to have intercourse with these married women because their husbands were being polytheists, and that didn't make any sense to me. So then I looked at a different one, and then it said we were afraid to have intercourse with these married women because of their husbands being alive. And one of them said we were afraid to have intercourse with these married women, and that's it. And then it said, then Allah Almighty revealed, and all married women are forbidden to you except those whom your right hands possess. And
did you read the hadith? Because you mentioned D. Did you read the hadith A?
I might have.
Did you read the hadith A, which is sort of a couple of hadith back?
Except when your right hands possess, and then they're lawful for you. He did not mention when they're. I'm sorry. When their iddah period comes to an end, right? I mean, how is that relevant? I mean, I understand what context is important, but
no. 1 second. Yeah. 1 second. So I'm asking you. The question I asked you is, did you read it?
The 1456A. No, I might have missed that one.
So you're researching this. Let me just stop this now. So you're researching this topic, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't read the hadith related to the same incident in other places in the same page, actually in the same book. You didn't read it.
I read a certain number of variations. I definitely missed certain things. I probably didn't do a full research like I should have, but because at that time I just felt it was not relevant to the question.
It's emotional. Your argument, isn't it? You're saying I just felt it wasn't relevant. So information that is relevant, you think is not important.
Yeah, because my question still hasn't been answered. That when Muslims capture married women, how can they have intercourse with them while their husbands are alive? Like, how is that morally okay?
Abbas, sorry, let me just deal with this. So, first of all, who told you that was the case? You're making. Where does it say you can have you can have intercourse with someone who's married, whose husbands are alive?
That's what I'm trying to ask you. What does?
No. Hear what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Where does it say that you can have intercourse with somebody when their husbands are alive?
Quran, Surah Nisa, verse 24.
So tell me where it says that.
It says, and married women are forbidden to you except those whom your right hands possess. So what does that mean?
Tell me where it says husband, and tell me where it says alive.
I mean, if you're married women, that means your husband is alive, right? And the hadith.
I'm asking you a question. 1 second. I'm asking you. Where does it say husbands and it says alive?
In Muslim 1456D, the one that you pulled up, it said that their husbands were alive.
And what happened? What did they say? The verse was revealed.
They said, we were afraid to have intercourse with the women because of their husbands being alive. And then the verse was revealed, and Allah Almighty said, and all married women are forbidden to you, except those whom your right hands possess. So you can have intercourse with married women. Like, how can this be morally acceptable in Islam?
And now let me explain to you, because this is a classic sort of emotional game. So let me explain to you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Abbas to look up the video and post the video so you get the full response. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what happened actually at this a very interesting battle of Hunayn was that there was a battle that took place. Obviously, the battles that take place, they don't take place in cities, etc. People go out into the desert to fight. They can travel there for many days. And one of the customs amongst the pagan Arabs or the Arabs generally was they would take things with them to motivate. So they would take their gold, they would take their women, etc. And their children even, to go into these battles to motivate them to fight even more. Yes? Well known. You can look it up for yourself if you haven't come across this bit of research. So when the battle happened, the Muslims were victorious. So the men fled the battlefield. So either they'd been killed or they fled the battlefield. Yes? Does that make sense so far? Anything you disagree with?
Either they were killed, they fled the battlefield, or they were taken captives.
Yeah. What, 3 possibilities, right?
Yeah.
So either they were killed, they were taken captive, or they were fled the battlefield. 3 possibilities.
Yes.
Okay. So now what happened in the next scenario? Tell me. What happened in the next thing?
Are you talking about this specific incident?
Yes.
I wish I knew. I just can't remember. I remember reading about this.
My dear friend Secular.
No, it's not in the because,
no, my dear emotional friend Secular. Just be calm and listen to what I'm saying to you. So, this is a really problem. You just you haven't done the research that you have for something that's affected you so much.
Right.
So what happened? I'm explaining to you.
Now,
let me 1 second. I'm explaining to you. Right. I'm explaining to you. So then, what happened was the Prophet, peace be upon him, waited in that place. So what normally would happen, because there's no prison system in those times, there wasn't like a set-up institution where people are imprisoned. What would happen is that the people are anyone that's captured, and obviously you wouldn't if you leave the women and children in the middle of the desert unaccompanied, then they will be killed or whoever's passing by. So what they did was they normally take them back to wherever they're from, so to their city or wherever they are. And in that place, then these people are given as indentured servants to whichever home that they belong to, whichever home that they're shared into. And there are rules to that, but we'll come to the rules in a second. But the Prophet, peace upon him, waited. Why did he wait?
I don't know. I really hope you can clarify this for me, because I couldn't find it.
I'm asking you a question. Yeah. Why did they wait?
Oh yes, I remember. It's because they need. Normally, there's a iddah period to have intercourse with the woman. No.
No, they waited in this place. Why did they wait in this place?
I hope you can tell me, but I don't think I'm sorry. I don't think you explained the reason why you could have intercourse with the married woman.
1 second. I'm actually telling you that your understanding is false.
Right.
That's what I'm telling to you. So the fact that you'll keep explaining it means you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Yes,
because I'm taking your case as an example and showing it to you as the fact that you're making a mistake.
Right. What
happened? So I'm explaining to you, so you have to listen. If you don't understand, I'm trying to explain to you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they waited. What did they wait for? What were they waiting for? The period could take a month. You think they're going to wait for a month in the desert in one place? Is that what you're arguing for?
No, the iddah period for slave girls is only one cycle.
That can be a month potentially, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So you think they're going to wait in one place for a month? Is that what you're claiming? Is that what the logic rationale is coming out of your mind?
As long as
they wouldn't wait for a month because they're in the middle of a desert with no water and no food, and they've got a whole army with them.
Right.
Do you understand? So what did they wait for? What they waited for was the people who had fled to come back. So a delegation came back to the Prophet, peace be upon him, from them. From the people that they'd fought with had fled away, they came back. Now you have to understand the position the Prophet, peace be upon him, with is. He's got their money because they bought their gold with them. He's got their families because they brought their women and children with them. And these people are coming. And what did the Prophet say to them?
I'm not sure. Yeah, can you please explain?
You don't know what they said. So in your research, you didn't come across this?
No, I don't have. Unfortunately, I didn't.
Let me explain to you.
Find it. Yeah.
So the Prophet, peace be upon him, said to them, and I'm paraphrasing now. I was hoping that you would come back, and I waited for this purpose. And I'm glad that you've come. I have your money and I have your honor.
Right.
You understand? I have your money and I have your honor.
Right.
Now, he's in his right mind to refuse to tell him to get lost. We've already defeated you. Go away, right? If he's the vicious type of character that you're trying to portray him as, right?
Right.
What did the Prophet say? I have your money, I have your honor. So choose which one it is that you want. And they said, we choose our honor.
Right.
And then the Prophet, peace be upon him, all the women were all returned, the families were all returned back to their husbands.
Right.
All of them. Now, even there was one old lady, and that old lady was asked,
can I challenge you?
Do you want to go? Imagine this now. You're painting out these vicious Muslims with their slavering beards and their big swords and their turbans and contorted, ravenous mouths just jumping on these women. This is what you're the cartoon character that you're painting of the Muslims. This woman was asked, do you want to return to your family? And she said yes. And then they let them go. So all of the women in the Battle of Hunain, all of the women were returned.
Yes.
One second. Do you understand?
Yes.
So now the question is, okay, so the Prophet, peace be upon him, won a battle, captured the people that were left behind, the women and children, because the men had run away or they were killed. And then they were, then he waited for a delegation of the people to come. They came, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, let him go.
Right.
Let them go.
Okay, so
now, 1 second, I haven't finished yet because there's other things to discuss.
Apologize. Go ahead.
So no rape. None of the things that you've said, that you claimed are correct. None of them are true. The absolute, you've brought an emotional argument from an emotional perspective on what you think that makes, it look bad. The Muslims look bad, or Islam look bad. So not only did you not read the Quran properly in all of your hundreds of thousands of hours, or translations properly, you didn't even research the hadith that you say that bothered you so much properly.
Can I respond?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. Okay. So I have a couple of counterpoints. One is that what does this verse mean, and how can I'm going
to come to the verse. I haven't got to the verse yet.
Okay.
So all I've done is I've given you the context of the information you've said bothered you.
Right.
All of the 1 second. Yeah. So all of the women and children were returned to their families.
Right. See, the thing is, it's not because of the.
1 second now.
Yes.
So now I want you to retract your claim of these people were raped because it's not true.
In this specific incident of Autas, the women were not raped.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, 1 second. Hang on a sec. This is good.
Yes.
I want you to. So we can come to the verse. I'll go to the verse in a minute specifically.
Right.
The first thing is I'm glad you've admitted that in this case there was none of this rape anywhere.
Correct.
Okay?
That's correct.
Now I'm going to ask you one other question.
Right.
Is there any documented case of any woman being raped